Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Preston Endress. The Hazleton Area School District held a ceremony on Tuesday to honor a former Hazleton coach and educator and to promote a new instructional basketball league for the district. During the ceremony, Hazleton Athletic Director Fred Barletta presented a plaque to the family of the late Francis Libinati, who inspired countless students and athletes in the Hazleton area in his roles as coach, teacher, and administrator. Barletta said he was excited to be able to honor the late coach by naming the new league after him.
I was thrilled when I heard the idea. We're at a stage right now in our community where a lot of the youth programs are just disappearing. For many years, Cal basketball and other assorted youth leagues, they've gone out of business. So there was a definite void for this. And then when he came up with the idea that this would be named after Fran Libinati, oh my gosh, that's a winner, because again, anybody who has ever had the privilege to know him, such a special guy, and what he lived for his whole life, sports, youth sports, nation, that was what he did his whole life. I don't think there's anybody in my lifetime that has had a profound influence in the Hazleton Area School District as Fran Libinati has.
Libinati's grandson, Franklin Ritz, is currently at the Hazleton Area High School and attended the ceremony with his family. Ritz said his grandfather would have been pleased with the honor.
It's amazing because he always, before he got older and started getting sick, he was just the most guy who would always be willing to do anything. And I mean, he would love just coming to me playing little basketball, little guy baseball, and he would come out and teach guys how to shoot, teach guys how to play. So I mean, just having all these kids around here, and I mean, I know he's smiling. So that's for sure. He's definitely smiling.
The first-year program currently has 30 girls and 52 boys participating. Hazleton Area High School Brogan said the goal of the instructional league is to build skills and encourage sportsmanship in young players while giving them an opportunity to compete. As a former student of Liberty, Brogan said that he was pleased to suggest naming the program after his late mentor.
He was always funny, he was always lifting, always in a good mood, always joking. He loves what he did. And when people love what they do, that passion comes out, and it's like a perfume. It goes all over people. And I think I definitely caught some of that perfume. And I hope that I could live my life and coach and teach, and just with a small morsel of how much he touched my life.
Brogan said another important aspect of the program is the involvement of high school students in teaching the youth.
The kids look up to the high school players, and they'll come to the games. And that's one of the things we're trying to get the kids to, once they buy in and they want to compete at in the instruction league, they see the kids, hey, I remember that kid teach me, to go see him at the high school, and they see the big crowds and hopefully success, and inspire them to work hard.
The league is made up of 8 elementary schools and is to be an annual program. Additional details have been released regarding the shooting in Wilkes-Barre on Sunday. According to officials, they were called to the for reported domestic disturbance on Mayor Street. Upon arriving at the scene, officers discovered that the domestic disturbance had been between 43-year-old Omar Jermaine Reddit and his ex-wife. Officials say Reddit had then traveled a few blocks away to Collins Street, where he reportedly put a gun on police. According to officials, a gunfight then broke out and Reddit was shot multiple times. Reddit later died of his injuries. Upon further investigation, officers discovered that Reddit's was a gun. Officers also learned that Reddit was not legally allowed to own a firearm due to his previous criminal history. The investigation into the shooting an additional suspect has been identified in connection with a shooting in Bloomsburg on Friday, October 5th. According to Pennsylvania State Police, officers were first multiple gunshot wounds of the Bloomsburg Geisinger. Officials later determined that the male was shot in a parking area off Irondale Road in Bloomsburg before driving himself to the hospital. According to a press release, remains hospitalized, but has been charged after he was determined to be in possession of a stolen handgun. 2 suspects have also been identified in connection with the incident. 20-year-old Nicholas Romeo Jones of Berwick has been taken into custody and charged with robbery and criminal use of a communication facility. 19-year-old Joseph Tenag has also been identified as a suspect in the incident and has been charged with attempted homicide, robbery, and aggravated assault. A warrant is out for Tenag's arrest. Anyone with information regarding his whereabouts is asked to contact the Pennsylvania State Police in Bloomsburg at 570-387-4261. Up on WYLN News, PennDOT announces an upcoming lane restriction on Route 309. Plus, the annual Drive for Autism Golf Tournament is right around the corner. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the WYLN News. We'll be right back.
WYLN News is brought to you by the Lehigh Valley Health Network Express Care, now open on the Airport Beltway in Hazel Township. Walk-in care 365 days a year for common illness and minor injuries.
My name is Riley. It's gonna be sunny.
We want your child to be our WYLN weather kid. Your child can be our feature of the day on WYLN News and WYLN social media posts just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to kids. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the WYLN News Facebook page. Submit your weather kid video today.
Contact Pete Casalica for a home and auto quote today.
Penn State Hazleton is improving the lives of others, starting in our community.
Providing degrees that meet the needs of the area.
Fueling entrepreneurship and contributing more than $36 million annually to the state's economy.
Research the health of our local ecosystem on the Susquehanna River.
Together, our impact will grow, backed by the strength of 24 campuses and 700,000 alumni.
Love the feel-good feeling when you shop at Grand Central in Quebec and Hazleton. You will enjoy a no-pressure professional sales staff, experience, service after the sale.
And don't forget, everyday low prices.
No matter what you're shopping for in your home, we have you with top brand names like Flex Steel, Lazy Boy, England, and Dillon Custom Rugs.
To finance interest-free for up to 60 months, Grand Central is easy to make your house a home.
Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-884-2314 or 570-790-8969. Do you like craft? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about wine, great beer, great food on WYLN 35.
Welcome back to WYLN News. PennDOT has announced the upcoming lane restrictions in Kingston Township. According to officials, the lane restrictions will be located on Route 309 near. The lane restrictions will be in place from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Thursday, 10th, as crews continue their work to install traffic signal heads and mass arms. Drivers are encouraged to take alternate routes to avoid delays. For up-to-date conditions on major roadways, you can visit 511pa.com. PennDOT also announced that all driver's license and photo centers will be closed on Monday, October 14th, in observance of Columbus Day Indigenous Peoples Day. However, customers will still be able to obtain a variety of driver and vehicle products and services online. Online services include driver's license, photo ID, and vehicle registration renewals, history services, changes of address, and driver exam scheduling. A variety of forms, publications, and driver training manuals are also available online. For additional information and to access these resources, you can visit pindot.pa.gov. Supporting Autism and Families Everywhere, or SAFE, is inviting the public to take part in their annual Drive for Autism golf tournament. The golf tournament will take place on October 11th at the Blue Ridge Trail Golf Mountaintop. Registration for the event is on a first-come, first-served basis beginning at 11 a.m. The cost to participate is $500 for golfers. Funds raised during the event will benefit SAFE, the nonprofit organization providing support for families and children with autism. For additional information about SAFE or the golf tournament, you can visit autismsafe.org. Coming up, Town's News Choice, releases down the path through history with Lehighton Part 3. Plus, we check in with Lisa Marie on this week's Wellness Wednesday. And stay right here on WYLN. We'll be right back.
Established in 1919, Heller's Orchard is a family-owned fruit business. And now that it's fall, there are so many varieties of apples that you Honeycrisp, Cortland, Evercrisp, Golden Delicious, Macintosh, and more. In addition to cider, pears, and other delicious fresh fruit. The Orchard is proud to be a part of the FDA Agricultural Practices Program. Heller Orchard's motto is, "We grow good health." So this fall, get out and get yourself some great apples, peaches, pears, or anything that Heller's Orchards has to offer. Fresh from the Farm is brought to you by Sky Valley Health Network Express Care. Open on the airport base in Hazel Township. Walk-in care 365 days a year. SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. A money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call S.J. Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
Your guide to everything Pocono Mountains is PTN, the Pocono Television Network. Tune in and see all the unique places to stay and things to do in the Pocono Mountains. Watch PTN, WYLN.
FNL Doors, your trusted overhead door supplier for over 50 years, providing quality products and services to Eastern PA and beyond with 2 strategic locations. They carry garage doors from leading manufacturers in the industry like Rainer. They guarantee parts and service for your home or business, from new construction to replacement doors, inspections, and service calls. FNL Doors stands behind every job, taking pride in the work they do. Call 800-344-DOOR or visit FNL Doors online at fldoors.com or visit their showrooms in Hazel Township or Cooklehaven.
This week on Let's Talk Chiropractic, Jen was in a car accident, hit from behind by a truck. Disc extrusion in her neck. A chiropractor should never crack a neck like that. She tapped it gently. She had other helpers like massage therapy, shots, cold laser. Her neck is healed. Neck surgery. So check in this week if you have a bad disc on what your options are.
Lehighton would be formally incorporated as a borough in 1861. It already found a way to bring the community together a few years earlier with the premiere of the Great Lehighton Fair in 1858. Held on the grounds of today's Lehighton School, the fair was in operation all the way through 1992, when it would evolve into today's Carbon County Fair. Among the earliest businesses in Lehighton after founding were grist mills and tanneries. Other industries would eventually take hold as well. Lehigh Stove Foundry Manufacturing Company was an early example, begun in 1865 in the oldest building in town at the corner of Lehigh Drive and Main Lane. It would remain in operation until 1927. Joseph Obert, who began as a cabinet maker and grocer, began a slaughterhouse in 1867. Pigs and cow would be taken straight off the train and driven to the facility for processing. Although burned down in 1875, Obert rebuilt it bigger than ever and continued processing meat into the 1930s. Frederick Loikel began as a butcher and branched out into banking. He and his son John built the Loikel Building, the biggest structure downtown, in 1894. The building still today as a dentist's office. Benjamin Colton began as a confectioner, then expanded by buying out George Snyder's bakery in 1900, which proved a very profitable business for him. His wife Maria had also made a small fortune in a making shop, and the two of them purchased much real estate in downtown Lehighton. Cigar factories were also a notable business in Lehighton. 5 of them operated in the borough at various times, including A.F. Diefendorfer's and I.S. Cuck. Isborn Cuck, owner of the latter, would later get a chance to prove his worth as an amateur detective in 1900, when the body of a man was found having drunk a fatal acid. In conversations with his customers while making business trips through the Lehigh Valley, he positively identified the victim as George J. Jones of Richland Town, Bucks County. For officers of the law in Lehighton, look out for criminals in the community never ceased. Of course, in 1870, the police's suspicions would be heightened following a bank robbery in Wilkes-Barre. Soon after the crime, a quartet of men were seen hanging around Mance's hotel in a suspicious manner. Gossip soon spread about their possible involvement in the heist, and Constable John Weston decided to bring them in. When he and his men attempted to approach the suspects at the hotel, however, the presumed killers drew their guns and escaped out the back of the hotel, swimming across the frigid Lehigh River in the middle of a February snowstorm. Weston quickly rounded up a posse and doubled around into the crooks on the other side of the river in Whiteport, taking them into custody after sentenced to 20 years in Philadelphia's Eastern State Penitentiary, where they would all pass on. Rumors around Lehighton for years afterwards about $30,000 in cash, bonds, and securities, perhaps buried in Packerton Dip east of Whiteport. And in May, 3 unfamiliar men came to town. That evening, they were seen digging over in Whiteport. In the general area, the loot was rumored to have been found. Gunshots would be heard overnight. The men would be found shot dead in the site the following morning. The apparent buried loot, if it ever was there, was never found. Towards the end of the 1800s, several other landmark businesses would get their start in Lehighton. Fred Horlock would open a bottling company on the street in the 1880s. He and his son George would eventually move their business to Allentown, and as the Horlocker Brewing Company, would produce beer for the Lehigh and beyond through 1978. Another business chose to remain in Lehighton, the Bayer, which opened in 1998 at Bridge and South 7th Street. It would be the largest employer in Lehighton proper, with 264 workers at its peak. Owner was a third-generation member of a family of silk magnates from Paterson, New Jersey. Eventually, additional mills would open in both Berwick and Turbitville. The Lehighton Bayer Silk Mill closed in the 1970s. 1901 saw the Pan American Exposition open to guests in Buffalo, to be a showcase of American progress. Among the attendees at the Great Fair was Theodore Snyder, who had first Lehighton as a school principal and had stayed in town to become a wealthy land developer. While at the fair, Snyder fell in love with the Michigan Pavilion, one of several pavilions that were sponsored by states across the country. The building, designed by Detroit's Lewis, $10,000, was white with a green roof and featured a wide hall and luxurious parlors inside. Like almost all the buildings at the exposition, it was set to be auctioned off following the fair's end. Snyder knew very quickly that he wanted the building. So, in October 1901, 1 month after William McKinley was assassinated by anarchist Cholgosh inside the Exposition Temple of Music, Snyder, through his agent James Hurd, successfully paid $500 for the Michigan Pavilion. The building was dismantled, arriving in Lehighton in pieces in early 1903. Snyder had the pavilion reassembled at the corner of 7th and Iron Streets, which was. He renamed the building the Colonial Court Mansion, which soon earned plaudits as one of the homes in the entire Lehigh Valley. In addition to the mansion itself, the grounds also featured a pond, gardens, and a zoo with peacocks and deer. Theodore Snyder lived in the Colonial Mansion until his death on May 16, 1907. His widow Emma remained there until just before her own death in 1915. Children leased the mansion to Charles and Phoebe Miller, who hoped to operate as a boarding house. These plans would come crashing down, however, on April 7th, 1916, when the mansion caught on fire. Muddy roads and fire hydrants also clogged with mud, preventing them being able to do anything to save the colonial court mansion, which burned completely to the ground. A private residence now stands on the site. Only 2 other buildings from the Pan-American Exposition still stand today. The New York Pavilion, which today houses the Buffalo History Museum site, and the Wisconsin Pavilion, which is now a house in Ontario.
An affordable pre-owned car or truck, Cheers has a great lineup of clean, dependable, and quality vehicles. Stop in at 16 North Broad Street in West Hazleton, 57454-7229. This is proud to be celebrating 70 years in business.
Your guide to everything Pocono Mountains is PTN, the Pocono Television Network. Watch PTN on WYLN.
It's high school football time on WYLN TV 35. Check out the game of the week. Join Marty Burns, Joe DeMelfi, and the entire WYLN sports team as they bring live high school football to you. The air in Hazleton at 35.1, Berwick at 47.1, or Port at 9.1, or Service Electric Cable, Channel 7 or 507, or online. The game of the week is brought to you by the Lehigh Valley Orthopedic Institute, the region's leader in sports medicine.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
WYLN programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page. Programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online.
Hi, welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I'm Lisa Marie, and I am here with a good friend of mine and one of our amazing doctors at Lehigh Valley Health Network's Topper Institute Cancer Center here in Hamilton, which, if you recall, we cut the ribbon last October and brought this beautiful cancer center closer to home for people to get care closer to home. So in October, we always talk about breast cancer awareness. You see the pink ribbons, you see the pink outs, and we talk about it. And I am here to talk with Dr. Decker, who is with our LVP Hematology and Oncology, to talk a little bit more about early detection, and not just breast cancer because it's breast cancer month, but let's really delve into, we talk about early detection. What do you see on your end as a cancer doctor, if you will, the difference between someone coming in who detected something early as opposed to maybe later stages in their cancer?
Sure. So I think one of the that I see is that the later that a patient is diagnosed with cancer in their disease course, the less treatable or the harder to treat that it becomes. And as it moves forward, it becomes less able to be. And so when we discover something incidentally, so for breast cancer, right, with mammograms or with self-examination or an examination by a doctor or your GYN, when we see people coming things like that, it's very, very rarely not a curable disease. And so we're able to treat them appropriately with a combination of surgery. Radiation is an indication of radiation. If they need chemotherapy, then we offer them that. But the predominance of those patients are curable in that situation. However, as time goes on and the cancer, as it becomes less and less treatable, the patient becomes sicker and less able to tolerate the treatments, even if we were able to give it to them. And the disease becomes more of an incurable one, and one that you would need treatment for the rest of your life.
So not only does it affect the person who has the cancer, it affects so many people around them, their loved ones. And that's why I think we always say that early detection, maybe have that conversation with your sister, your brother, your relatives, someone close to you, if you are noticing that they're not taking care of their health like they should, their annual exams, their annual colonoscopies. To go for a colonoscopy. I mean, do you wake up and say, "Oh, I can't wait today's colonoscopy day,"
this is
right?
Gonna be awesome. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I know, and I've said this before, every time I have polyps. So if I didn't start that journey when I was supposed to, where would I be if I put that off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a possibility, correct?
And so that's always, kind of the argument that I have in patients I see for reasons that are unrelated to their cancers, and if they need screening to be done, whether it be a colonoscopy or a mammogram. I mean, the idea is that, no, a mammogram isn't comfortable. No one wants to have a mammogram done. It's not something that you volunteer for regularly. A colonoscopy, same thing. No one's jumping for joy at the thought of it. But if they're seeing patients, and so if they're seeing people in their family or in their lives that have gone through advanced stages of colon cancer or breast cancer, the benefits far outweigh the risks having those tests done. And a lot of this is, right, so say that you have a stage 1 breast cancer. You're looking at a limited amount of treatment for, a short period of time, and then you get on with your life. So if you're younger, you get on with your life, you're back to work. When it becomes an incurable disease, or something that has spread further than that, and even when you're younger, you're now looking at something that you're going to be on a treatment for the rest of your life, or until you decide to stop. And so, this whole idea of I can go back to work, I can proceed doing all of these things, I want to be there for kids' graduations, kids' graduations. So these are all things that are going to happen when you're being diagnosed at a later stage.
And which wasn't always the case. Let's go back 20 years ago, 25 years ago. I mean, are we seeing the survival rate a lot better now than we did back then?
Oh, certainly.
Because of that earlier detection, because of the treatments that we have available now, and
Oh, we certainly do. And the bulk of the breast cancer that I do see is being detected early. And so that is great, but there are definitely patients out there that we are, catching very late in the game. Someone that has, not had a mammogram in 10 years or maybe never. And they're going for their first mammogram maybe because they noticed that their nipple inverted or they felt a mass themselves. And so by the time you feel one of these masses themselves, it's probably going to be fairly large. And the chances that it's spread outside of there is greater. One of the other issues that you really have to think about is that, so it spreads from, say, like the breast to the lymph nodes in the armpit, and then spreads out to other parts in the body. Right. Now, if it's in the breast and the armpit and you're finding it there, still considered curable. Once it's outside of there, then we're looking at things that really cannot be cured anymore.
So the long and short of it is get
your testing done.
Get your testing done.
Yeah, do it for yourself, for your family, because you want to be around, right? So mammograms starting at age 40, and a lot of people, it's getting younger and younger all of the time.
Sure.
And we don't know all of the answers for why that's happening, but it's certainly happening in breast cancer, and it's happening in colon cancer, and multiple other cancers as well, where not necessarily a family history, but people just popping up with these new cases of breast cancer, and they can be fairly aggressive cancers.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your insight. We
Definitely.
Really appreciate all the care that you give our patients here. I hear so many wonderful things about you out in the community.
Oh,
You're watching WYLN TV 35.